Hello, Honors Algebra. Mr. Lawrence here with a story problem review. We're not going to really spend too much more time on story problems. You shouldn't be relieved at that. You should be feeling like, yeah, I've mastered this, and it's time to move on to a new topic. So let's get down to it. Get my calligraphy pen out. All right, very good. Let's see, Corvus, the destructive chemist, has a bottle of 70% acid solution and a bottle of 40% acid solution. He needs to mix the acid from the two bottles to create 540 ounces of a 60% acid solution. How many ounces from each bottle should he use? Step one, I'm going to define my variables. So I'm going to say let x equal the ounces of 70% solution, and then y is going to equal ounces of 40% solution, right? First equation should be easy. X plus y equals the total number of ounces, 540. Then I need the equation 0.70x plus 0.40y, and that'll equal 0.60 times 540. I'm just doing a little quick. 10% is 54, right? So 20%, 108. And if I triple 108, I think I'm going to get 324. So I'm thinking that when I multiply these, I'm going to get 324. So there's my second equation. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. So y is going to equal 540 minus x, 0.70x plus 0.40 times the 540 minus the x. That'll equal 324. Okay. Running out of room to do my problem, but I know that I'm going to distribute here. And my x is, I'm going to have a 0.70x, I'm going to have a negative 0.40x, so I'm going to get a positive 0.30x, and that's going to be added to 40%. Well, let's see, if 20% is 108, then 40% must be double that, so that'll be 216. That'll equal 324. So 0.30x is going to equal minus a 216. And let's see here. Looks like I'm getting a 108, right? All right. And I'm going to divide by zero point 0.3. So if I take 108 and divide by 0.3, and I do my little long division, and that's going to move my decimal point one place here. And so 3 is going to go into 10 3 times, right? 18, 3, 6, 360. So x is going to equal 360 ounces. Well, that means y is going to be the same as 540 minus 360. And I think for my polygon days, I'm going to get 180 degrees, 180 ounces actually. So there we go. Pretty easy problem. Okay, let's see here. Devin has 79 coins and nickels and quarters. So I'm going to let n equal the number of nickels. And then q is going to equal the number of quarters. Well, I can do my first equation right now just by the first sentence. I know I'm going to have n plus q will have to equal 79. Now, the total amount of money is 915. What I'm going to need is I'm going to need the money from the nickels. Wouldn't that be 0.50n plus the money from the quarters, 0.25q, That's got to equal the total amount of money. This one is different than the chemistry problem because I don't have to multiply over here. I have money from nickels plus money from quarters equals the total money. All right, I think I want to deal with the n variable. So I'm going to do solve for n, and I'm going to get n is going to be the same as 79 minus q. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this second equation. I'm using substitution 0.05, 79 minus q plus 0.25 q, and that'll equal 915. And so if 10% is 790, 79, right, 790, what's half of 790? Well, half of 80 is 40. I'm thinking 39, 3.95. But let me just check that. I'm pretty sure 5% of 79 is going to be 3.95. So 79 times 0.05. Yep, 3.95. And all I did was take 10% of the number and cut that answer in half. So I'm going to distribute here, and this is where I'll get the 3.95. I'm going to add negative 0.05q plus a 0.25q, and that equals 915. Combining like terms is going to get me 0.20q, and if I subtract 395 from here, I'm going to get $5.20, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take both sides and divide by 0.20. 0.20. So if I take 5.2 and divide by 0.2, I move this little caret, and I believe that's going to end up being 26. So Q is going to equal 26, which means there must be 26 quarters. Now if I do 79 minus 26, of course I'm going to get 53. That means n is going to be 53. Now to check myself, I'll multiply 53 by 0.05. And if that means I'd have $2.65, and then I will multiply 26 times 0.25 and add that to 265, and sure enough it comes to be 915. I know my answer is right. The check is super simple to do. It's almost silly to not do it because it is so easy to do. All right. Let's see here. We've got a current problem. Remember, for those, we're going to need D equals RT. Distance equals rate times time. Jeremy rides his bike for 20 miles along a straight stretch of highway. The ride takes him 1 hour and 20 minutes. Now my time is going to be 1 hour 20 minutes. But that number is no good for me. I need 1 and 20/60ths. Well, that's the same as 1 and 1/3, okay, hours. And I could use 1.33. That'll be pretty accurate, I guess. So for the one trip, my time is going to be 1.33. Maybe I will use 4/3 just to see how it works. No, I don't think it's going to work all that great. Okay, so for the one ride where it takes 1 hour 20 minutes, he's going 20 miles, and we're trying to find his rate, and we know I got 1.33. I'm going to solve for R, and I'm going to get 20 divided by 4/3. I think it's going to be 15, right? Yeah. 20 divided by point. Yeah, 15. Okay. So, and see, that's the problem with using a decimal like 1.33. If you watch, I'm going to go 20 divided by 4/3. Where did I get 4/3 from? Right there. I turned that into an improper fraction. That's the same as 20 over 1 times 3 over 4. And when I do that, 4 4 goes into 4 ones, goes into 25 times, and I get 15. I get a nice pretty number. If you use 1.33, you get this big ugly decimal. All right, so anyway, so that's the first rate. And now, let's see, that's into the wind. So I'm going to let B equal the bike speed and W equal the wind speed. And so my first equation into the wind is going to be B minus W, and that's going to equal 15. Now, the return journey, the ones I went back, it takes an hour and 5 minutes. So we're going to have 1 hour, 5 minutes, that'd be 5/60ths, which would be 1 and 1/12, I believe, or 13/12. Now that one won't work out so pretty when I go to stick it in my D equals RT equation, but I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. All right, so I'm going to have 20 equals R times 13/12. So I'm going to divide by 13/12. 13/12. So R is going to be 20 over 1 times 12 over 13. And that just doesn't come out pretty any way you do it. So I'm going to get 240 over 13. So I'm going to go 240 divided by 13. That's going to come out to be about 18 and 46 hundredths. So my second rate would be 18 and 46 hundredths. That's rounded, but it should be close enough to use. All right, so the bike speed plus the wind speed is going to equal 1846, like that. We're already going to do elimination. I'm going to get 2b equals 33.46 and divide by 2. And so let's see here. I'm going to take 33.46, cut it in half, and get 16 and 73 hundredths. So the bike speed is going to be 16.73. That's miles per hour. Now the wind speed, if I subtract 15 from that, I'm going to get 1.73. I think that should work, right? Let me take 60.73 and add 1.73. And sure enough, I get 18 46 hundredths like I'm supposed to. And so that's in miles per hour. And there's your two speeds, miles per hour. Right there. Okay, last problem here. Megan is twice as old as Kyle. Let M equal Megan's age, K equal Kyle's age. Okay, so the first equation, Megan is twice as old. I got Megan, I got the Kyle. I want them to be equal. I have to double Kyle's age. 21 years ago, how old is Megan today? Well, she's M. How old is she 21 years ago? M minus 21. Same thing for Kyle. He's 21 years younger. Okay, she was 1 year less than 4 times his age. So I have to multiply by 4, but that's 1 too many, so I'll have to take 1 away for it to equal Megan's age. Now I'm going to simplify as much as possible. M minus 21 is going to equal 4K minus 84 minus 1, which is really just minus 85, so I'm going to change that to minus 85. And now I'm ready to substitute. I'm going to take this 2K and I'm going to put it in for M right there. And so I'm going to get 2K minus 21 equals 4K minus 85. Add 85 to both sides. minus 2k from both sides. And I'm going to get 2k over here and here. I'm going to get 64. And if I divide by 2, Kyle is going to be 32 years old. And then Megan is twice that, so Megan equals 64 years old. And there you go. That's your review. That'll be it for today's lesson. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.